Well, greetings and thank you for joining me. We are sitting in the garden of the Chancery Office on Walmsley Avenue, 7887 Walmsley, and this is sort of the inner sanctum of the garden. And it's a place of great meditation, and it's where a lot of our staff also have lunch and have conversation. The last couple of weeks have been sort of erratic, and so we haven't been in touch in the same way as we had been, and I've missed the opportunity to share with you some of what's going on. But I would like to share with you today a conference, the contents of a conference that I just came back from in Dallas, Texas. Every other year, the National Catholic Bioethics Center in Philadelphia provides a workshop for bishops on the Catholic Church's teaching on bioethics and current topics. Dr. John Haas is the president of the center. I have the privilege to serve on the board. And it's a center that has done an incredible amount of research on moral issues concerning bioethics. And they are not only nationally recognized and used by the bishops in the United States, but also internationally. In fact, when Pope Benedict was the head of the Congregation for Doctrine of Faith, he often went to the Bioethics Center, the National Catholic Bioethics Center, to ask for their opinion, and has recently appointed Dr. John Haas as a member of as a consultant to the Pontifical Life Academy. The copy, and I'm showing you what we did these 3 days. So I worked. I want you to know that I was away, but I worked. And the title was The Universal Moral Language, Bioethics and the Natural Law. And just to give you some indication of some of the topics we talked about, reproductive technologies, abortion, stem cell research, same-sex attraction, same-sex marriage, euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide, and new healthcare legislation. And we had presenters in all of these that presented topics, discussions. Then the bishops at the table, and the bishops from North America and South America were invited. We had discussions at the table, and then we critiqued some video clips trying to explain this teaching to others without going into all the details, because I could do a video blog on each of these. The thing that came through to me the most as we look at these reproductive technologies and same-sex marriage and euthanasia and assisted suicide, new healthcare reform, there are two issues, I think. One is that because of the world that we live in, technology is a wonderful thing. We can do incredible things that we could not do before, and we can heal people in ways that we have not been able to heal before. And that is all the work of God. God has provided us with the mind and the ability to have that technology. However, it seems that we as human beings have taken this too far. We have used these means and these technologies to become God, to create life outside of the womb, to take life with assisted suicide, the God with a small g. And I think that's really all these issues. And the abortion issue too, stem cell research. And as we have said before, the church is not against stem cell research. We're against embryonic stem cell research. So in all of these things, they are life issues where we have become God and are ordering life and deciding when life begins and when life ends. That's an important point. The second thing that we are very much concerned about from the Bioethics Center and from the bishop's point of view is that it is more difficult for us to get our teaching out because laws and legislation in various states and in the United States and even in healthcare reform cloud the topics. And so it's much more difficult to get our message out. And as we know, in some states, they have approved assisted suicide. In some states, reproductive technologies are the norm. And so we really have to look at that. The other thing is, does the government truly have the right to tell Catholic hospitals what they can and cannot do? And with the new healthcare reform, at what point does a Catholic hospital, and do we individually as Catholics, say, this is what we believe in, we're not asking and imposing this upon others. We truly believe in this. We believe that this is the teaching of the Church, and we do not believe that we have a right to do it. If others do, we do not strive to be condemnatory, We don't need to impose our views on others, though we want all people to seek the truth. Where are we losing freedom? And it really is a question of religious freedom. And I think the question in the world, in our country today, is religious freedom eroding to some extent? Those are just some thoughts in these 5 minutes. I can't go on with all these topics, but I would encourage you to go to the website for the National Catholic Bioethics Center to look at these issues and to become more knowledgeable about them. I spent 3 days at this conference, and I've learned how much I don't know and want to learn more. Thank you for joining me, and it's the Mardi Gras season. We're getting closer and closer. We're preparing for Lent, and so we'll do all the hootin' and hollerin' for Mardi Gras, and then we'll get ready for that important season of Lent. And we have 2 big programs coming up in Lent that I'll talk about soon. God's peace and blessings to you and to all those you hold in your heart.